Welcome to the Altenew Certified Educator Something Blue Video Hub. Today, I am sharing a modified version of what is probably my favorite display card design, featuring elegant tone-on-tone texture, vibrant blue florals, and dreamy dahlias. I'll link the previous version at the end of this video in case you missed it. I started with a white ink blending friendly cardstock die cut for the floral element and an ivory die cut for the sentiment. I stamped the sentiment using obsidian pigment ink as well as the image. You can heat set the ink if you prefer, but either way, make sure it is completely dry before beginning with the ink blending. Using the coordinating stencil and the lapis lazuli ink family, I started with the lightest shade, covering most of the petals. Next, I alternated between the second and third shades, adding color to the base of each petal, sometimes using a mini blending brush and other times using a number 5 detail brush. After each color application, I blended with the lightest shade, which is iceberg, being careful to preserve the highlights. For the flower centers, I use fresh lemon for the base and honey yellow for the innermost layer. For the foliage, I started with firefly and added green field as an accent layer, and for the stems, I use firefly combined with mountain pine. For the final floral layer, I applied sapphire and softened the color blend with iceberg, and on the foliage, I used Shadow Creek blended with firefly. Once the ink was completely dry, I removed the white border around the floral element. For the card base, I began with a 6.5 by 8.5 rectangle of heavyweight cardstock, and with it in landscape orientation, I made tick marks at 1, 2 and 1/8, 3 and a quarter, 5 and a quarter, 6 and 3/8, and 7.5 inches. I then rotated the paper 90 degrees and marked 1 1/4 and 5 1/4 on both short sides. Next, working with the markings on the short ends, I found the intersections of those points with the 2 and 1/8 and the 6 and 3/8 inches marks on the long sides and traced the lines as shown. I then removed the rectangles created by these markings, resulting in a capital I shape. Score, mountain fold, and burnish all the score lines created by following the markings along the long side of the card base. Using two strips measuring 1 1/4 by 6.5 inches, place them in landscape orientation and scored at 2, 4, 5 and 1/8, and 6 1/4 inches. Trim the end sections from each strip and emboss the remaining center sections. Cut the embossed pieces into 3 sections using the score lines as guides. These will become the texture panels for the front of the card. Secure the open ends of the card base using the leftover 2-inch rectangles. I like to use a combination of double-sided tape and liquid glue for extra strength. Attach a 1.5 by 6.5 inches strip of acetate to the top center section and the bottom center section. This will create support for the floral element. Decorate the 3 top sections and the side bottom sections with the corresponding texture panels. Then adhere the floral element to the top and bottom center portions of the card front. Then attach the remaining texture panel to cover the end of the stem. Add your sentiment of choice using dimensional foam tape. To add extra support to the bud, I added a very thin strip of paper behind it. This is a double strip of paper. And to decorate the back of the card, you can add a simple note card, or you can even create a pocket to hold a gift card. This updated design creates a cleaner backside than the previous version. Which one do you like best? Thank you so much for spending time with me today. I hope this project inspires you to experiment with bold florals, texture, and dimensional card designs of your own. Be sure to visit the rest of the talented participants in the hub and leave a comment for your chance to be entered into the giveaway. Until next time, happy crafting!